All right, we are live. Welcome. Thank you. First of all, introduction necessary for Darryl. I need to stop putting my pen up. It's like
disappears.
It's green. Okay. I haven't slept in a while. Darryl, welcome. If you are familiar with us, he's been on the show before. Darryl Kennan of Watch It Like, and also of the guy who's kind of a dick in the Discord channel.
He's number two. What are you talking about? I'm the nicest person in there. Ask anybody. It's just to you.
I second that. Nicest person ever.
To be nice in our Discord channel.
And you deserve it 99% of the time, Smithers, you dillweed.
Not arguing with that. Darryl, why don't you go ahead and plug your channel and anything you got going on real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's called Watch It Like. You can follow us on social media at Watch It Like. It's a movie review, sort of nerd culture, popular culture podcast where we just talk about everything going on in the world and in the world of sports, movies, television, comic books, and then wind it up at the end with a review of a movie or TV show and teach you how to watch it like so you can enjoy the movie or go into it with the best expectations.
So it's instead of just loving something or shitting on it, you say, watch it as though you were watching. For me, every movie is a combination of Fast and Furious and something else.
It's funny you say that. The genesis of it was don't watch Fast and the Furious expecting to see Schindler's List because you'll be severely disappointed. So if I told you go watch this movie to watch a bunch of shit blow up, watch The Rock just Hulk out for 2 hours, watch Vin Diesel get older in front of our eyes, you'd be ready for that type of movie.
And a lot of movies are just about expectations too. Managing your expectations is kind of half the battle. Because even if it's a great movie and you're late to seeing it, and everyone's like, "This is the God movie, you got to see it. It's so fantastic." Sometimes that ruins the movie.
Yeah. In
general, I mean, so what was the last movie you guys reviewed?
Oh my God, it's been so weird with all the lockdown. I know we were doing TV shows the other week. I'm pulling it up like as we speak.
That's probably a smart move though, because TV shows are a little harder because they take a little bit longer.
Yes,
but sometimes they're worthy of diving in. We do those on rare occasions.
Well, we do it when we're desperate, like Space Force. There was nothing coming out for like
man.
Years on either
side. I did not enjoy that.
Not at all.
No, I really couldn't get into it that much. I can see like maybe next season will be a little more fine-tuned and come in a little better. There's like seeds of it, but it just didn't grab me throughout.
Yeah, people wanted The Office, but
no doubt
they're getting, maybe they build the characters a little bit better, and I mean they ended on a good note. So I'm interested to see where it goes, but it wasn't like give me this immediately right now.
Yeah, we did Lovebirds, the last movie we did.
Oh, nice.
Simon and Johnny, Issa Rae.
Well, how do you watch that one like? What do you watch it like?
That one was like game night, those types of movies where it's just sort of hijinks from a really basic scenario.
Okay. I actually listened to that episode that you guys had. I remember listening to that actually. Because that's a good watch it like.
All right, Darryl, you are also a father. And as a father, first of all, happy Father's Day tomorrow, early Father's Day.
Yeah, you too.
I had a horrible realization today, and it was that my son's eyes will just kind of point in opposite directions. Like he doesn't go cross-eyed, but they point outward like an iguana.
Oh, that's normal.
Yes, so my wife says, but there's nothing normal about that. It was horrifying. Like if she hadn't been standing there, I probably would have thrown him out the window.
Yeah.
Demon
Parker, my daughter, when she was born, she had like that, her left eye would just kind of like wander and then it would like come back. It was very unsettling. But my wife's a nurse in labor and delivery, so she's like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. They have weird eyes."
There's so much they just like don't warn you about, and you take the baby home and they just expect you to figure it out. Like, I don't know, man. Nobody warned me of this. The power of Christ compels you type bullshit. Like, I didn't expect it at all, and it just fucking terrified me.
No, I feel like you get all the prep for pre-birth, like labor, baby coming out, maybe even like the first day, how to buckle in the car seat, and then like, all right, well, peace, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Learn how to keep this thing alive
for
15 years.
The rest of eternity, really.
So what is Parker going to do for you for Father's Day?
We have a tradition. We go get comic books and eat donuts. That's our Father's Day tradition.
Rick, what are you doing for Father's Day?
I'm going to call my dad, DB, see what he's up to. Make sure he got my really cool hat that I sent him. He loves like random, most obscure, like college hats.
What hat?
To be determined.
So did I just remind you that it's actually Father's Day tomorrow?
No, I knew it was Father's Day. I just needed to do other things prior to. He doesn't even want a hat. He just doesn't want anything. He's a dad. You guys know. Don't get me anything for Father's Day. Just leave me alone. Give me my space. That's all he wants.
Impossible for. Let him sleep in. Let him drink a beer, smoke a cigar, whatever. Cook on the grill.
You know what? I might get him. I might have him sent over. I'll have my mom like get a 12-pack or I think probably a 12-pack of Miller High Life, because you can taste the savings. That's the only one he likes. That's literally that. There should be their slogan.
There's an app called Drizzly where you can just have booze delivered to somebody.
Yep. Amazing. Maybe I'm writing it down.
That out. Yeah, I think maybe I'll send Carl a 30 rack of Busch Light tomorrow for Father's Day.
Yeah, we should try and get Drizzly to be our sponsor. I mean, alcohol.
That'd be fantastic.
On the run, all about it.
Yeah,
I can see the commercial now. Like they just come in from the right side and just like, oh, sir, hello, here's your booze delivery.
Drizzly.
And every time you have a guest, you can send them some.
Oh, I see. I see what you're angling at here, Darryl.
I mean, I'm always on my hustle.
This is all future guests and not right now.
Next time. Yeah.
In particular, your favorite, actually probably your second favorite black guest, I guess, technically. I'll give it up. E-Man.
Hang on. I got to go like 7 deep.
Oh, yeah, you.
Fine, Darryl. You know I love you.
That's all good.
So what are you planning on doing for Father's Day, Smithers? Did we
keeping my baby alive for another day? Actually, I'm going to smoke some beef short ribs.
Ooh.
I got the smoker together and I fired it up for the first time yesterday. First of all, I didn't know you're supposed to like season it, which means you kind of, the first light, you just kind of coat it like with some kind of vegetable oil. I use grapeseed oil and you let it burn for like an hour. Then you do it again. And I did not know that. I was going to cook the ribs yesterday and it was like, well, this completely ruined my plans. But anyways, I decided to smoke some burgers instead at the recommendation of Tofty. Shout out Tofty, because excellent idea. Best burgers I've ever had in my life. And that is it's not an exaggeration. It's not hyperbole. They were fucking amazing. They were like melt in your mouth. Delicious. And I will never grill a burger again.
What kind of chips were you using?
This was hickory. So it wasn't necessarily about the smoky flavor. It was just like the way it was textured. They were jalapeno cheddar pub burgers that I just got from a butcher. And dude, they were fucking outstanding. And I'm really hoping I don't screw up these short ribs, because apparently it's a much more difficult thing to do.
Don't you just let them sit there for hours and hours and hours? For the most part,
more within that.
You're not a father. Trust me, you don't know these things yet.
I'm a dog. I know exactly how that is.
He doesn't even mow the lawn or anything. Idiot.
It's all the worst parts about being a dad.
I told my wife, as soon as we buy a house, I'm putting an actual like shack in the back for smoking. So can't we just get like one of those egg things? It's like, no, I'm getting a fucking shack because I'm a grown man and I need to smoke meats.
Smoke shack. You're literally gonna have a smoke shack.
Yeah.
I only bought as small of a smoker as I did because it was on sale. You know, like if you buy one of those Traeger grills or whatever, I mean, you can find one that's like $2,000. Like
Costco.
You might as well cook every fucking meal. Like if you have some cereal in the morning, you better run it through that fucking smoker first.
Smoked cereal.
Apple Jacks.
Ooh, that actually sounds good. We might be onto something here, boys.
Now we're just on a roll. We're having guy time and we're talking about new recipes. You can't beat it.
Boom.
This is big dad vibes going on.
News to us.
Boop. All right, so we're gonna roll into some of our news now. Darryl, I wanted to give you the opportunity. I'm assuming you're familiar with our Points Master interaction, and as our guest, I think it's only fair that we allow you to run the point system this week if you so choose. Otherwise, we completely ignore it.
Nope, let's do it.
All right.
My paper ready. There we are.
I can already see like minus 10 points for me. I can see how this deck is already stacked against me, and that's okay. That's okay.
You kind of asked for it.
Yeah, you look very handsome today, Darryl.
Oh, thank you.
Here we go.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There we go. Do you like my shirt?
Plus one. Oh, yeah, I do. Yep.
John Ralphio, you're the worst.
Tell him he needs to do an impression first before he can actually get the point.
Oh yeah, is that what you want?
I'd like to see that actually.
Your impression, not
Best.
We the best. Worst.
The worst. She's the worst person in the world. Huge skank, terrible. But
How spot on was that? Tell
That's
me.
pretty solid.
See?
Yeah, I can dig it.
coward.
Okay. We got a couple trailers this week. Actually, we got quite a few trailers this week,
Yeah.
and some of which I'm pretty excited for. So, Darryl, did you watch the trailer for Palm Springs with Andy
did.
Samberg and Kristen Milioti?
Yes. Yeah, it's it was like Russian Doll. That'd be my watch I'd like for the trailer. It was like watching Russian Doll, but a love story somewhere tangled in there. Or a better love story.
Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, I mean, it's lived, I repeat. It's every, redundant story ever, which is fine, but it seems like it has a slightly different tick to it. It's Andy Samberg, obviously, who is a very funny person. Kristen Milioti is that person that you see and you're like, oh yeah, her.
She's that girl from The Thing.
Yeah, so I immediately think of that Black Mirror episode, USS Callister, and that's where I recognize her from.
Yeah.
She's been in a lot of other stuff. She was in wow, I totally just had a brain fart. Bad Life. Am I right, Darryl? You get it?
I mean, she's that girl from That Thing. That's
She
all
was in-
that I have to say for anybody.
The Wolf of Wall Street. She was in Fargo. She was in 30 Rock for an episode, I think.
I was like, who's she in 30
Sopranos.
Rock?
She was
Abby
the
Flynn.
comedian girl who like acted like a ditzy bimbo to avoid her ex-husband who was trying to cut her head off.
Okay. We're watching 30 Rock, my wife and I. I'm watching it again. She's watching it the first time, so come across her.
Best sitcom of all time.
It's-
Top 5.
It's pretty amazing.
I probably shouldn't say best of all time, otherwise
No,
Rick will
Community.
and yell about Seinfeld.
Community's fantastic. Community's definitely up there. First 4 seasons probably are up there.
First 3, it's 3, skip 4, 5, and then 6. 'Cause
Right.
4 was the gas leak year.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
I finally convinced my wife to watch it, and I mean, it took me years.
Yeah.
Community or 30 Rock?
Community. She loves
Okay.
30, which is why I thought she would love Community, because I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous over the top shit.
Well, Donald Glover was a writer on 30 Rock too.
Exactly. So it's this. I mean, he shows up in a few episodes.
Yeah.
And she's just been plowing through it, and I've never been happier. Like, I still think I'm batting 1,000 in my recommendations for her, in as far as stuff that she actually likes. Whether it's good or not doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as she likes it, that's what matters.
So your wife fights you like mine does, because I tried to do the same thing for probably 5 years with my wife. Like, you got to watch Community, And she's like, I'm never watching that stupid show. And then she sat down and watched it and then binged it. And she's watched it about 3 or 4 times now, all the way through.
Yeah.
There's so many little subtle jabs and jokes in there that just you don't catch, and then you're just like, I love it.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, she kept telling me, like, I didn't expect it to be this ridiculous and over the top. And it doesn't start out that way, but they do end up getting there. And then I explained to her, this is the same guy who created Rick and Morty. She's like, oh, I get it, of course.
Now it all makes sense.
Daryl's personal friend from LA.
You know it. See him at the bank.
All right. I don't know how we got here, but
Palm Springs.
Anyways,
I love that.
this originally premiered at Sundance.
Mhm.
I can't even remember how long ago Sundance was at this point, because every day is an eternity. But this was purchased by Hulu and is going to premiere there early next month, July 10th. They broke a record, at least for Hulu. They paid $17.5 million for that. So either they thought it had a lot of allure to the audiences, or they think it's really good, or possibly both. Who knows?
Yeah.
Andy Samberg is in his own right kind of an attention grabber to begin with, and especially when you make it a comedy. He's been hitting on a lot of things. Brooklyn Nine-Nine's fantastic. Pop Star, all these. I mean, he even did that one thing with the steroid with
Yes.
Lonely Island, which was great on. I think that was on Netflix,
Tour
right?
de Pharmacy,
It's on HBO.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I recently made Erica watch Hot Rod, and she was like, "What the
Oh.
fuck is this?"
I fucking love that movie.
Because because it's hilarious. All right, let's keep going here. Brick, this is kind of your forte. 21 years later, for some reason, we're getting another Pokemon Snap game. I guess there's a reason that this franchise is the most lucrative one on the planet. Do you have any interest in this?
You know what? I did not until I actually saw the only trailer for it. And I was like, I could see it being kind of fun to actually play that through. It's just like a puzzle game, more or less, where if you take a picture of a certain thing, sometimes it'll trigger another event, and then it grades you. It's like a photography puzzle game. It's like artsy. And if you love Pokemon, then you're sold. You should already get it. The one thing that I thought was kind of weird was everything else in that trailer that they had that was 10 minutes long. Pokemon toothbrushing.
Yeah, like the AR.
Yeah, no, that's perfect for kids. I mean, that's awesome to be like, oh, here's you get 2 minutes to play this, and if you get to 2 minutes later on, you get to like level up and stuff like that. That's perfect for people that want to actually teach their kids to brush their teeth properly. But everything else, I never got the Pokemon Go phase. I was always over it, but it's kind of
a couple weeks.
Yeah, it was a fun,
but it's still huge
before everything went to shit.
It's still huge though, which is the weird thing. There's still have such a big fan base. They want to do a thing where if a million people come to a specific event and they get this shiny version of this Pokemon or whatever. It's crazy they can even think of these events to do this and have that kind of, participation. It's insane to me.
I think you also need to realize though that we are the secondary target audience for Pokemon. Not us specifically as like, I don't know, frankly, older people, but like the Japanese culture loves Pokemon, and most of Asia does as well. So anything they do over there, obviously they're going to do it here because it's already built and ready. So, I mean, and there are a lot of people, a lot of weebs, if you will, who love Pokemon, which I love Pokemon too. I just don't, I don't spend hours of my day on it. So
yeah, I didn't care for the first one on the 64 really. It just wasn't not my steez.
It's like 2 hours long.
Yeah. And it was like, they actually could do something really fun with this if they took the AR stuff that Brig was talking about with like the toothbrushing and like the Pokemon Go and then Pokemon Snap. So you go outside and you just walk around and like snap pictures. You don't have to have them with the stupid coding where everyone has to gather in the same area. Obviously, state of the world. But you could do like a Pokemon Snap where you just like take your Switch out. I guess there's no camera on anymore. On your 3DS and go out in the world and like take pictures.
There's only one Pokemon game that I want, and it's a hybrid of the RPG original. And whenever you got to do battles, it's a Super Smash Bros. Battle. And there's different tiers of fighters, and it makes way more sense because you can actually have a difficult battle with a Squirtle versus a freaking Charmander or Charizard because of the actual different tier sizes of players. And that's the one problem they have with Smash is there's 74 characters or whatever in Ultimate. There's probably more now, 78 maybe. But there's tiers of characters that are good and bad. And I mean,
so like Pokken, the Pokemon fighting game that came out a couple years ago. Similar to like that, but then you also have RPG elements in between battles.
Exactly. Pokken Tournament is what you're talking about. Cool.
Yeah.
But
more like Stadium. I think it still has to be turn-based though. Otherwise, like if you're bad at the fighting portion of it, the game is completely irrelevant to you.
We can still nerf it.
I'm sure there's different difficulties you can probably make it. The more you play, the more you'd be able to be master, if you will, of your. It's all about playing. That's all video games are, is how much time you put into it. I mean, there is a curve, obviously, but I think that's the area they need to go. There's no more Smash Bros. Coming out. Give me a hybrid. Give me a hybrid Pokemon. That's bringing me back.
I'd be down.
All right, Brick. I'm going to stay with you first on this one because it looks like Warrior Nun is kind of some sort of spinoff of Velocipastor, maybe. And I want to hear you say Velocipastor again because you always do.
Velocipastor.
There you go.
Oh, I recorrected myself like a doofus. All right, whatever.
So I know that this show probably isn't aimed at me. I just don't really understand who the target audience is because it looks too violent to be like YA type stuff. Can somebody help me out here?
16-year-old boys. It's Dark Angel with like Sucker Punch vibes. So like that Jessica Alba TV show.
Oh yeah.
But Sucker Punch in terms of like the weird sexuality and violence.
I was going to say they're wearing way too much clothing to be Sucker Punch because that would overly sexualized everything.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I thought was actually pretty interesting behind it was the fact that they got a non-believer to be this badass super nun that's like who's going to do all this killing, which obviously doesn't make sense for a nun to begin with. But to have like someone who's like, I don't even believe in God, this is stupid. Then for it to kind of come to that reality, I thought that was kind of a cool angle to do.
That kind of makes sense. And then, I mean, not necessarily the same, but that gets kind of like a John Constantine vibe where you're like, oh, I got to deal with this bullshit, even though I hate everybody.
Yeah. I mean, if they do it right, it could be like Supernatural, but female driven. I don't know. Did you guys ever watch Supernatural? Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki.
So I should have started it like 5-6 years ago or whatever, and now it's just so daunting. There's so many.
Like the first 3 seasons. It gets really weird after that. Like they start bringing in angels and demons and hell and the devil and shit, and it gets very strange. But the first 3 seasons are a lot of lore, a lot of like crazy myths from all around the world. They really incorporate them, and you actually learn some. But the first 3 seasons are worth it, I'd say.
Okay.
I like that. What about Preacher? Did anyone watch Preacher? Is this kind of a similar vibe to Preacher?
Kinda. I watched the first season, and it was so far away from the books that it just, I don't know. It's something about it just turned me off almost immediately, and I just gave up on it. Was it the butthole mouth guy? Isn't there a guy who has a butthole for a mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the book though. Like I had no problem with Arseface.
Yeah,
is that his actual name?
Yeah. Well, it's what they call him.
Obvious. Yeah. Okay. Weird. Amazing.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Deathstroke's Knights and Dragons. Darryl, are you a fan of the DC animated universe?
Yes, because they actually make really good animated films somehow. I've never understood that DC makes way better animated films and Marvel's are terrible, but Marvel movies are way better than DC will ever be.
Live action Marvel at the top, then DC animated.
Yeah.
DC live action, then Marvel animated.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's very fair.
What do you think of this trailer for the Deathstroke? I guess this is kind of a backstory.
So it's his backstory. They're like humanizing him, obviously, like with the sun thing. Overall, the story just looked meh. Okay. Like I'll watch it. Maybe something in there will surprise me, but I don't care about Deathstroke in general as a character. And then to give him a backstory with like, oh, protect my son. Like, it's like, okay, that's fine. I'll watch it.
Where do we find that?
They're trying to humanize a guy who's traditionally kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah. He's an asshole. Like
he's a merc and he'll just do anything for money. So I don't really, I don't know. I guess
Isn't that what Deadpool is?
Say again?
Isn't that what Deadpool is?
Yeah, but
well, Deadpool's origins, yes, but as he evolved as a character, like in the comics, he just became like a comedic mercenary, and so that was like the fun of Deadpool. The movie obviously made him try to give you some touch points to like feel for, for Wade Wilson, but as a whole, he was more just comedic relief.
So Deadpool is a dick, and Deathstroke is an asshole. That's the difference between them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deadpool's actually kind of funny. And the way that Marvel has bastardized Deadpool ever since they made since basically people became aware of the movie and what the character could be, maybe even since the video game, really. But then they completely had a character turn on him from kind of like heel to face, where he had this internal struggle about being a better person and all this shit. And it was better when he was just doing everything for money and just kind of a crazy person and had voices inside of his head.
Yeah.
Everything they put out probably for the last 5 years, at least comic book wise, has been kind of shitty.
I'd agree. That's very fair.
Okay. So last trailer. This is The Rental, and apparently Dave Franco is a director now. Did anybody know that? Did anybody see that coming?
I just found that on your notes.
So when you go to the local Whole Foods, you don't run into Dave Franco and catch up with him about his upcoming projects?
I've not seen Dave Franco, Alison Brie's been like super crush of mine since obviously Community, but I've never seen Dave Franco in real life. Seen James Franco when he's going to AA meeting.
Sick.
Cool. Anyways,
Super rando.
so this is as you mentioned, Alison Brie. Lip from Shameless is in there. Dan Stevens, the guy from Legion, and Sheila Vand, who was in Argo and a couple other movies with Ben Affleck. She was in that bad Triple Frontier movie, so she must have some kind of loose friendship with Ben Affleck. But I don't know. This kind of seems like a typical horror thriller where people rent like a house on the beach. It's like an Airbnb, and all of a sudden there's a camera in the shower that is not hidden well at all. So
let me just put a shining red light in your shower head. You're not going to see that.
Also, you'd think like water would get on that camera and be useless in the first place.
Yeah.
Where's that line running? Where's the cable running to? The power cable and shit. It's just that doesn't make. Now that I'm talking about it, it makes zero fucking sense.
There's even less. Yeah.
But Airbnb owners are weird too sometimes. Like we were supposed to have an Airbnb over in Colorado for my friend's bachelor party, and we were like deciding between one or the other. And the one factor was like, oh yeah, no, the person's just going to be outside of the apartment within like a van, just like the whole time. It's like that. Let's not get that place. That's weird to me. Why would you like? They're going to rent your place out. You want to have a good time, not have to worry about the owner, being there and being like weird, just like popping in. I don't know. It just seemed like it would be too close for comfort. But
that is the intro to this rental movie.
Yeah,
that's why I felt like it kind of did hit home, just because I had that one weird experience where I was like, that seems ridiculous. Why would you ever want to have that happen?
Darryl, does this pique your interest at all?
No, not really. It's just these people are idiots. I can already tell watching this. I'm gonna hate every fucking character for doing like the stupidest shit. So I was thinking like Invisible Man, in the beginning of Invisible Man, we talked about on our episode about that, where if I'm like tell you, hey, pick me up in the middle of fucking woods, I'm gonna jump in your car, like I'm gonna jump in and you just drive. Don't ask me a question. I don't need to put my bag in the back seat and sit in the front seat. Like just jump in the fucking car and go. And I can see it happening in this. And drive me fucking bananas.
People in horror movies are dumb.
White people.
Yeah, that's typically how I judge a horror movie, though, is how stupid are the people in it. Like, did you walk into a basement by yourself after you heard a noise and there's a killer on the loose? Then this movie's fucking dumb. That's why I love Cabin in the Woods so much, because they don't necessarily do anything wrong from that standpoint, but they're fucked no matter what, and they almost get out of there. Like that is brilliant storytelling. I fucking love that movie. So
we need another one of those.
I would absolutely watch a sequel to that. Bring back Chris Hemsworth somehow. Maybe something. I mean, they got all their blood, right?
Yeah, clones. The Clone Wars. That's another option, probably.
The movie didn't make any sense anyways. Just do whatever with it.
They'll do one where they do a replacement by bots. So your person gets replaced by a robot, and we can just have Chris Hemsworth just kind of coming up here. Oh, I'm back. Nothing happened at all bad at all in that lake house.
Like Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, where Felicity was a
fembot.
Yeah.
Shooting them titty cannons.
Titty cannons is not a word I expected to hear today. Okay.
Hell yeah.
It's always welcome.
Let's move on to a little bit of actual news as opposed to trailers. In a statement from StarWars.com, Lucasfilm announced that the celebration for this year has been canceled. They're pushing it back to 2022. So this is in Anaheim. Darryl, was it originally going to be in Anaheim? Like, were you planning on going at all?
Oh, I wasn't going to go. I'm sure Danny, my co-host, would go because him and his wife go down there all the time. But I'm pretty sure it's always down there. Like any of these like Star Wars celebration things are always at Disney, at the Anaheim Convention Center, which is right next door to Disneyland. And with was it Galaxy's Edge? It just it would make sense for everything to be there. But no, I wasn't planning on going.
Chicago last year, so like Chuck and some of our friends got to go. So that's cool. At least that one didn't get canceled, because it'll probably never be in Chicago again. But
probably never have one of these things, big mass gatherings again anyway, though.
Yeah.
Not for a while.
It's fine.
Probably smart to have it 2 years out too, rather than just the one, just in case, things never come back to normal.
Doesn't that kind of fly in the face, though, of them opening their Florida park in July? which, by the way, is definitely not going to happen now because Florida is just getting butt raped.
Yeah,
COVID-19. So
yeah, and what is it? The Orlando airport, 260 of the 500 employees, I think it was, all tested positive. So half of their employees and that's where you have to fly into if you're going to go to Disney World. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
I heard conflicting stories about that because they were talking about it in reference to the NBA starting up in Orlando. And some people have refuted that, but I haven't seen definitive answers either way. But that is not something I would want to risk right now.
It's believable enough because it's Florida.
Exactly. And they didn't even try to do anything. Nobody was wearing masks. They were all hanging out at the beach, high-fiving alligators and shit without hand sanitizing in between. Just
sharing baths with each other.
Yeah. But
it's our right to not wear these masks. I want to be sick. I'm going to do it.
Deadly disease and die a horrible death.
It does make it hard to smoke bath salts with the mask on.
It does.
Very true.
All I know is that if we don't get baseball back soon, I'm gonna start. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start burning shit.
Get your 70 games, and you'll like it.
I'll take that. It's better than 48 or whatever they were talking about.
Baseball sucks, dude. Why do you even care? It's super boring. Darryl, are you a fan of baseball?
I am. Dodgers fan, huge.
So you watch like a bunch of
We've gotten
games?
cheated out of 2 World Series, but
that's kind of
talk about that right now.
Yeah, you stink. Whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're in a
hold up through the playoffs, you're not really getting cheated out of anything.
What? I needed the World Series. They're the last team now because they won one when I was 3 years old, so I haven't really experienced that. They'd be the last team for me to actually remember winning a championship, and then I can die a happy fan because all my other teams won.
Fair enough. I know that feeling.
What's your team? What team do you need to win a championship still, Smithers? You saw the Packers, right? You saw
none.
Cubs.
I think I'm good.
Blackhawks. So someone can kill you right now. No big deal. All right.
The Bulls win 6. Yeah, I think I'm good. I know.
Yeah, you'll be solid. So yeah, well, we can end you.
I need to pick up like esports or something and find a guy who sucks. So then after he wins, I can die.
Yeah.
All right. I found this interesting, and I don't know if anybody else does. Brick, I know you don't read comics. Darryl, did you ever read Descender by Jeff?
I did not.
So
no, I need to start. Yeah, I need to jump into that.
Mark and I are big fans, and we're big fans of Dustin Nguyen, who does all the. It's actually watercolor art. It's absolutely gorgeous. And they a couple years back, Sony optioned Descender for a live action movie, and now they're saying that. Let's see. Lark Productions has purchased rights for a TV show for Descender and the sequel series Ascender. I don't know what's going on here. We've talked to Dustin Nguyen at conventions, and we talked to him about costume design and stuff like that because obviously as the artist, they want to get his input on that. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but they better still be making that movie.
I'm pretty sure Sony's has been for a while going through a bunch of money troubles. There was some talk about that last year, I know. So it might have something to do with that they just sold off a few properties that they didn't want to invest in and develop. That probably is why it got transferred over. But what's the backstory about this? Like, what is Ascender and Descender?
So it's futuristic, and it's a world where technology is kind of demonized because something very bad happens and giant robots come out of the sky and blow up some planets. But the characters are very endearing. You have people who want to be like cybernetic cyborgs, like want to embrace the technology, and there's people who are like, no, everything that's you plug into a wall outlet is evil. It's just very well done, very likable characters.
So it's like Cyberpunk that we will never get because it's got delayed forever.
Cyberpunk doesn't actually exist. CD Projekt Red has been lying to us since 2012 about the development of this game. It's never coming.
2012? Really?
Technically, it was announced in 2012. They probably didn't start actual programming and production on it then. But this would have saved us all during quarantine. We immediately would have survived because everybody would have just stayed home and been like, I'm going to play Cyberpunk instead.
I feel like for Cyberpunk fans, try being a Final Fantasy fan, because Final Fantasy VII Remake it was supposed to be on the PS3 and then the PS4, and it barely came out at the tail end of the PS4 now, and I think it was in development for like 15, 20 years. I feel like
Did it live up to the hype?
it did. Yeah.
Okay.
Easily.
I mean,
So-
I get it, but also there have been how many Final Fantasy games?
A lot. Not enough, but still quite a lot.
Yeah.
But that is by far the most successful story that they've told in Final Fantasy. So everyone got really excited when they first announced that they were working on it. And then they had like little snippets here and there, and then the trailer, and then it got delayed for a year, and then it got delayed for 6 months. So Cyberpunk will come out. I need Keanu. So
It's not real, I'm telling you. They're just
it's the
they're just
Figment.
hopeful that the world is going to explode before we hit November, and they actually have to put out another statement about it. So
15
Uh,
Final
that's so sad.
Fantasies. That's so
Yeah.
many.
two
many?
more bits, I promise, then we'll move on.
There's going to be 15, I think.
okay.
There's 14 currently.
The only thing I have in my notes for this, I'm sorry, go ahead, Darryl.
I would say there's 15 because Final Fantasy 15 came out the other year. There's like the 3 bros driving around in the car.
There you go. So there's 15 of them then.
Okay.
Jesus, there's so many.
The only thing I have in my notes for my next bit of news is, in all caps, Animorphs, the movie.
Did you guys read those books as a kid?
I think I read one of them.
I think I did too.
I
But
didn't.
But
But there's
yeah,
a TV show.
that's one I think I saw. I don't think I read the book.
Yeah, there was like I would say like 94, between 94 and 96. There was a TV show like a Saturday morning on Fox Kids for Animorphs. And that's all I remember about it. You turn into an animal.
So the books kind of have a darker side where you're talking about like not necessarily like angels and demons, but like evil forces that are, and it's this group of kids who all can turn into a very certain animal and nothing else. Who is asking for this?
I
probably-
don't think anybody.
Some guy who's got a lot of money now, who's in his 40s, and was like, you know what? I really like that book. I'm going to fucking make a show.
We
Yeah,
need to
we're gonna
bring
do
back
this.
the Animorphs, so they can each. So I guess each one of the books is like told from the perspective of their own abilities. This guy can turn into an iguana. What kind of useless piece of shit? Why? What could he do? Slowly crawl up a tree and have his eyes be all weird like your baby?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if my son is secretly like the incarnation of an Animorph,
Oh
and
my
it's a
god.
bad Animorph?
The worst
Like,
Animorph.
Why
Yeah,
couldn't he be a leopard or something?
It turns into a mole.
Oh, a
naked mole rat, even worse.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah,
That's-
I don't know. I feel like somebody at a movie studio was basically just like, we see that people love Goosebumps and shit from that same era, and they're
At the
just
same time, yeah.
whatever.
It's one of those things where they purchased the rights to it in 1990. They're like, shit, we got to make something or we're going to lose the rights to Animorphs. They're like, fine, I guess put something together.
So we have a question in the chat that I'm curious to hear the answer to. Have you ever gotten or given a wedgie before? And let me answer for both Brick and I, because we have siblings. So absolutely. Darryl, I don't know about you.
Yeah, I have a little brother and sister, but my little brother definitely given him one.
Yeah.
But in high school, in football, obviously, there's always like that guy that everyone like messes with. And I gave like an atomic wedgie, like absolutely shredded this dude's undies, like just all up his back.
I feel like you have to have had given or received a wedgie in your career of a human being.
I have not, because I will throw hands. Like
But you've given wedgies.
yeah,
right?
yeah. I've never received
Exactly.
one though. Like I will
Yeah.
fucking elbow you in the throat.
Yeah, but even just like accidentally sitting on a chair and kind of grabs your underpants and you're just like, woo.
Is that the same thing?
No.
I guess
Not
technically
really.
you got
That's
wedged
just like
in
your
there,
butt getting hungry.
right? Just give me them panties.
Yeah. And Darryl definitely doesn't have an older brother or a brother that's bigger than him, which is how I can
No.
tell you've never gotten a wedgie. You're kind of right though, Brick. Like, I feel like it's kind of a rite of passage. At some point, it's kind of like getting punched in the face. You can tell when you meet somebody that's never been punched in the face because they're just, high
They
and
won't shut up.
And you want to punch him in the face. Yeah, one of those faces I want to punch.
Darryl. Anyways,
We were doing so well. Yep.
I got to throw a couple jabs in there.
That's
All right.
fine. That's fine.
Last bit of news. HBO Max is milking the fuck out of the Snyder Cut stuff. They released this 30-second teaser of Wonder Woman kind of seeing Darkseid in some ancient tomb, and Jesse Eisenberg is just in the background. You know, he's got this voiceover and he's making his weird noises. Did either of you watch? I posted in the Discord. It was like a supercut of all the weird noises that Jesse Eisenberg makes in that movie.
No,
It's so off-putting.
I need to.
He's
Oh
Lex
my
Luthor.
God.
Doesn't Lex Luthor notoriously make weird noises?
No, he's notoriously well-spoken and put together.
He's like the most polished person and like cerebral person in DC.
Yeah. So Darryl, we haven't gotten your take on the Snyder Cut. Give me a rundown if you don't mind.
Yeah, fucking just give it to us. Like, I didn't care for the movie in the first place, but at the very least, this is the original vision, so I can judge it based off of that. And if it sucks, then all these people who've been clamoring, shut the fuck up already. Like, that's just basically how I feel. If you want to watch it, watch it. I think it's going to help HBO Max when it comes out. I think we were talking about this in the Discord, actually, that if you get, 1 million people to sign up, 15 for just for that 1 month, that's $15 million paid for right there.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows how many more.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get rid of that free trial period before they drop Snyder Cut. Otherwise, that'll be the only thing that everybody does. Plus, it's super easy to pirate now. I don't know.
It'll get pirated for sure.
All right.
But tangent, really quickly.
Go for it.
About the Snyder Cut, like getting people to sign up just to see the Snyder Cut. I keep saying this, and I think I'm the only person saying this, that Disney and Marvel should do something similar with their movies, release them on Disney Plus, but you can just make it a special, like, one-time purchase, $20. You can watch Black Widow one time, no pausing, no stopping or anything. Like, you're in the actual theater at home. It's just a one-time purchase, and it just plays through. So you don't get the creature comforts of pausing it and like, I gotta go pee and all that. You're treating it like you're at the actual theater. I think that would fucking kill.
But what about theaters opening up? Doesn't that change everything?
It's not opening up here in LA or New York, where theaters carry the majority of the US gross.
Right. Okay.
That is interesting, but then Disney's, my guess is that Disney's response to that would be like, absolutely, that's how it's going to get pirated. So
yeah,
once
it's going to get pirated anyway.
Yeah, it will be. But if it's a theatrical release, it'll be somebody in it with a camera. Like, you're definitely going to make more money if you actually do the theatrical release.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
So I'm kind of worried about this person in the chat. It looks like Paul. My older brother did swirlies and also would hold me down and fart.
See, I feel like swirlies were a little past our time. I feel like I feel like that was like step in the line if you're a habitual line stepper.
In the 80s.
Yeah, that's because no one was doing as much coke as people in the 80s.
Yeah, that's those high school kids and their cocaine, the swirly.
You know it, dude. Big problems.
Well, Paul, if you need help, let us know and we'll send the police. I don't know.
Yeah, anonymous tip lines, something.
He says his older brother did swirlies, but that doesn't necessarily, like, I don't know how old you are or anything, but if you're like 25 and your brother's still giving you swirlies and farting on you, man, it's time to whoop his ass.
Yeah. Take some MMA courses and just, like, after a month, you can probably hold your own with him.
Yeah, or just when he's watching TV, just like run in front of his face, fart, and then run away. If you can run away long enough, you'll probably be good.
There you go.
That's such a little brother move.
Learn how to fight, or get in really good shape so you can run away longer and he'll never catch you.
Cardio, baby.
There we go. Don't say we never did anything for you. Paul says he's 18. Yeah. He stopped doing swirlies, but he still does wedgies. Man, you better knock his fucking teeth out.
Yeah. One time. Just one karate chop in the throat. He'll learn his lesson and it'll be over.
Kick him in the balls.
Man.
Oh man, I gotta replay that now. There we go.
Best.
We the best!
Worst.
The worst! She's the worst person in the world. Huge, skank, terrible, but thank you.
All right. My worst man alive, Paul's brother. Since you're both younger brothers, how did you do Wedgies back? Well, my brother is 10 years older than me. There was no giving Wedgies back. There was run away and hide. But
I was an older brother. I was older brother.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest.
You whoop your ass though.
I'm 6 years older than Billy and way bigger. Like 70 pounds bigger at least.
Could he stand up to you now though?
He's actually pretty jacked now, but he wouldn't dare.
You don't pick on him. You're too nice.
Shut up, Billy. I used to.
Really, man.
I toughened him up. Now he's the man.
Darryl, do you still beat up your brother?
I don't think I would anymore. He had plenty of that growing up, but he's in the military. He's in the army, and he's like a crazy fucker, jumps out of airplanes.
And now
so
you do movie.
I beat him up his entire life, and I left on top. I don't want to test to see if his skills got better.
Retire champion.
Yeah, exactly. He's 5'8" and $160, and I'm 6'3", like 250, 260. So just on that alone, I have an advantage. But
yeah, Jesus, that's
he's
so
scary.
much bigger.
Yeah, they teach you some shit in the military. I wouldn't work with that. Just go out on top. Retire.
I know Andy Pone's Candy can beat up Wubby. So
obviously. Okay. Brick, do you have a best man alive?
I have a best town alive, city alive. So all these Christopher Columbus statues have been getting taken down badly. So we need to make a city in Ohio relevant. Cincinnati, trash. Cleveland, whatever. Cleveland's even worse.
Turd fire.
Columbus there's a petition going around to change Columbus's name to Flavortown. And I am, for one, all about it. There's over 8,000 signatures to petition to switch it over to Flavortown, which is hilarious. We can make that a hub for the culinary crossroads, if you will, of the United States. Get all them, recruit some people that are good chefs, get them out there. And apparently Guy Fieri was actually born in Columbus, so it actually makes sense to take that Flavortown. That would be the craziest thing of all time if Guy Fieri was able to coin the new name of the city that he was born in. That would be amazing. So best town alive right now is Flavortown. I'm calling it Flavortown from now on, regardless. I'm not even Columbus anymore. Columbus is gone. Peace. See you later. Flavortown is welcome. So best town alive, Flavortown.
Can you imagine? Just picture a giant bronze statue of Guy Fieri in Flavortown, Ohio.
Just glorious.
American shit I've ever heard.
With like gold filigree in his hair, so it has highlights. I mean, chef's kiss.
Literally the chef's kiss. Bonus points for that. Amazing.
Absolutely. Darryl, I'm sorry. I should have kicked it off with you as our guest. Do you have something for this?
It was going to be Flavortown. Legitimately, it was fucking Flavortown.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to share mine with you. So if you are in the video stream right now, you'll see a little visual aid here. But we discussed this in our Discord. And basically what it is a guy. Whoa, wrong screen. My bad.
Deception.
What up, FPS?
It's a guy who basically took one of those apps now that turns a man into a woman and did it for every NFL quarterback and sparked some hot debates, not only on Twitter, but in every tech circle and Discord channel. And this is weird, and I'm here for it.
I think of the Troy Barnes gif. I have the weirdest boner right now.
So, Brick, which one of these quarterbacks is the hottest?
I think I agree with you, Smithers. Yours was originally Jimmy G. He just has that face that looks very. Look at that.
That looks like
beautiful
gorgeous lady. Gorgeous lady.
What's her name? Miranda Baccarin.
Oh yeah, from Deadpool.
Yeah.
Ooh, she does look like that actually. So yeah, my pick is Jimmy G.
With long hair. Some of these are like you didn't even try with this. Like the Peyton Manning one, it doesn't make any sense.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben Roethlisberger is horrifying. But this one, and I'm blanking on the guy's name right now.
Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew. Shouldn't she have a mustache?
That's true.
No, that's the
very
whole
fair.
point. That's the whole point.
No, I get it, but I don't know. Phil Rivers
it's
just
a
looked
signature.
angry. I thought Tom Brady would be hotter. Is that an okay thing to say?
No, Sam Darnold looks very weird in that picture, I feel.
Yeah.
Overall,
Tua-
really
messed up.
unsettled.
Tua was the one that tripped me up at first. Because I was like, who
Oh,
the
that's
fuck is this?
Tua.
That just looks like a chick.
I had no idea. Oh my God, that did trip me up.
Oh man, okay, so this guy on Twitter, not KDK3, you are my best man alive of the week, and I mean, this is just you're doing the Lord's work out here.
I think you got to show Mahomes.
Show Mahomes. Mahomes is a little hottie.
Yeah, dude, she got like
before
the hair. Where's
Show Tannehill?
Oh yeah, Tannehill. Tannehill's up one.
He looks like a country singer.
I think Tannehill looks way better as a woman than he does as a man by far. He got the biggest glow up.
Yeah, where did they get like his top? Isn't he supposed to be wearing like something? Isn't it usually just whatever they're wearing?
Yeah,
I mean, maybe that's what he was wearing. Maybe he was just like wearing this flannel shirt.
It's the new Taylor Swift collection,
and a necklace for some reason. Yeah, this. There's Mahomes. They left like the beard and the
a little bit of the beard.
Don't zoom in too close.
Yeah, keep that one distance.
It is very uncomfortable, and the Jay Cutler one was just a bonus.
Oh yeah, he still looks like a big bitch. Like she would be the biggest bitch of all time.
But the fact that he still has like big jacked hairy arms is just icing on the cake for this.
Oh, no question.
All right, I digress. This was I spent too much time looking through these and making judgments that I should not have to think about.
Oh wait, look at Chris Long actually looked really good too. Right there. You're looking. Yep. That's the other one.
Not Chris Long. That looks nothing like Chris Long.
That's not Chris Long. That's Kyle Long. Go left one.
So that looks like Megan Trainor.
That looks like Chris Long.
Not really, man. That just looks like a blonde chick. I don't know. FPS in the chat says Cutler's pick reminds me of Man Hands from Seinfeld. That is absolutely spot on. So,
what a call.
Perfect.
Okay. She had man hands.
We could do this all day, but we probably shouldn't.
Do you want this lobster?
All right. I think we're set on Best Man Alive. So what we're going to do now is our movie review, which has a drop, which I don't have pulled up because I'm an idiot.
The lack of sleep from being a father.
As a father. Okay, so as I mentioned, our movie review for the week is The Five Bloods, which is a new Netflix film. It is Spike Lee's latest. He was directing it, and he also had a writing credit on it, but it was also written by three other dudes who I'm not as familiar with. Stop me if either of you know any of their work. But this debuted to a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics, 57% from fans. So generally what we would say is that that's kind of fart sniffy because the critics love it and the fans are just kind of mediocre. So when I get to that point, I tend to look at a few other places. Like IMDb had like 8,000 reviews and it landed about a 6.7, which I think is probably more fair than either of those ratings. But I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let you guys talk about this. Darryl, as our guest, why don't you tell me your initial thoughts on this movie?
Well, in terms of just the reviews in general, I think it's probably because the movie is a lot longer than expected. I didn't know it was that long. I just threw it on and just started watching.
Yeah,
so I think
2 hours and 34 minutes.
Yeah, that's a heavy investment. And it probably could be about 20, 30 minutes shorter. I think it would have been a little more enjoyable. But overall, this movie's fucking wild. Like it's one of the better depictions of Vietnam that I've seen, just because it doesn't hold back of the atrocities like to the people. Like we've seen the war movies, we've seen We Were Soldiers and Hamburger Hill, where you see the soldiers, but this one actually shows like a lot of the people and the scars that are still carried there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really liked just sort of that portrayal. And then the American War versus the Vietnam War dichotomy was like a fantastic thread throughout the movie, just because of the two different views of the of both sides, like of what was actually happening there and who was actually being affected.
I feel like recently we've gotten a lot more stories of actual soldiers from Vietnam and the protests that they went through to basically go fight a war they didn't agree with, and that hadn't always been the case. Like, it had always been glorified, World War II, you know, the Korean War and all that stuff. It was like it was an honor to go serve your country. And I think that the information flow to the general populace kind of turned things on its head. You know, like a few years ago, I mean, this was when Obama was in office, things were escalating with Syria and the region near Yemen. And basically the outcry from the public was so loud that it was like, well, we can't go bomb them now, even though they probably did secretly go bomb them. But I completely agree with you on the aspect of you know, showing the horrors of war. I feel like that's important when you're doing any war story. But Brick, why don't you give me your initial reaction?
I thought even though it was pretty long, I thought the pacing in the movie was pretty good. It starts out freaking hot, and it doesn't really slow down. I like the way they built the characters and the character arcs throughout the whole story. I thought one of the characters who played who was it that was going nuts the entire time? I think it was
Delroy Lindo
plays Paul.
Delroy Lindo was electrifying to watch the entire time, and to be in that Vietnam War and to go back into those jungles years later has to have some sort of effect on you in the first place. And just because flashbacks, just everything, just being back into that country must bring back so many horrifying memories. And I thought they did a really good job showing that. And I think I loved the way that they filmed it too, as in when they did the flashback, they changed like the film size. So it kind of went back into that era. Like you're kind of seeing it through that time. And I thought it was really well done, and I was pretty much hooked the entire time. There was some of the scenes in there were the most butt clenching I've ever been a part of, I've ever seen. If you guys have seen The Deer Hunter, have you guys ever seen The Deer Hunter?
Sure.
Yeah.
The one scene in The Deer Hunter when they have to play Russian roulette against each other when they're prisoners of war was, I can't even explain it, how like intense it made me feel. I was sweating just watching that scene, and I feel like they recreated that in a certain way with the scenes that they had in this movie, Defy Bloods. So I think just the way they took to the Vietnam War was spectacular for me. I loved it. I was never really a big fan of the Vietnam War movies in the past, but this one just had me hooked from the get-go.
The flashbacks is a really good thing, I think, to focus on really quickly. Is just that they didn't use younger actors to play the people. It was Delroy Lindo running out there shooting the M16, and I think that's a really interesting portrayal of like how memory works. Because when you think about stuff, like think about yourself in first grade, your first grade teacher, like you yourself are still you now, but everyone else is who they were at that time. And I think the movie was sort of helping portray that, like, we remember ourselves, but as we are today, transplanted back in time. And that was just at first it was a little jarring, and then I really like settled into it and was like, this is actually pretty fucking cool. I liked it. And then Chadwick Boseman was forever young because he died, in Vietnam.
Yeah, and I loved his storyline. He plays some great characters
so much more of him though.
Yeah.
I did too. He had some great speeches. He was just honestly fantastic. I loved him throughout the entire movie. He's a great actor. He plays Jackie Robinson. He was in Draft Day, Black Panther.
Wow. Nobody ever talks about great actors and refers to Draft Day.
No, I know, but he was. I just was looking up some things, but yeah, he's awesome.
So I hated Paul. He was a very hateable character. That is a good thing though, because he's such a piece of shit that you find yourself believing it more than you probably normally would.
Did you empathize with him though?
Boy,
like the shit that he had to go through?
Yeah, of course. And
okay.
My dad's a Vietnam vet. Like the things that he's talked about are, you know, horrible.
Yeah.
The things that those people had to go through were horrible. But like, even if you just look at the other people from the Five Bloods, like, they're not massive pieces of shit like he is. They're not overtly racist and tell their son that they don't love him and shit. Like, I get that everybody sees different things and everybody deals with it differently. But I just, man, every time he opened his mouth, I was like, this guy's a piece of shit. He
starts off pretty early for me not liking him. He throws on his hat and I was like, okay, I'm done.
Oh yeah.
I felt like that was a little on the nose for Spike Lee. Like, I don't know that it necessarily added anything to the story. Like, you were going to hate him anyways.
Yeah, I think it just really signaled like, this is the guy that you're going to go through some shit with. Because there were some parts where it like really was like, okay, I get and understand, I guess, now more about why he is how he is. Doesn't excuse it, but at least I understand it more.
Sure.
But he was a shitty dad.
No doubt. I thought they did do a good job with the heavy subject matter that they had. I thought there was really good levity that they had throughout the movie too, though. They did have some pretty subtle jokes, and you can tell. I liked the relationship between the five guys, or the four guys that they had, or the five guys actually, and they were brothers. You can tell they had that, you know, vibe that they had with them. So the character development was great on my end, and then again the levity was pretty good. I like laughed a couple times at some of the things that were actually happening.
So apparently, initially, Samuel L. Jackson, Giancarlo Esposito, and Don Cheadle were slated to star in this. I'm kind of glad that didn't end up happening, at least from a standpoint that I feel like that would have been distracting. I don't know, like, Samuel L. Jackson has a little too much star power. I know Delroy Lindo is you know, has a storied career as an actor.
He's got a long career, but he's not maybe like Rosewood, like where you're like, there's nothing where he really has been like, that's fucking Delroy Lindo right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just been around. I mean, in popular cinema, in black cinema, everyone knows Delroy Lindo.
Yeah, not a household name though.
Exactly.
I
would have liked to see Giancarlo Esposito though.
Yeah, he's, I mean, excellent. Brick, you know who that is?
If I saw a picture, probably.
Gus from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's great, perfect. Yeah,
that would
have been good.
So I had some issues with this movie about the writing specifically, which I'll maybe get into a little bit. Try not to spoil, but I felt like not the soundtrack, but the score did not at all match the tone of what was going on screen for most of the movie, and that was really kind of jarring. It was like, you know, they're talking about, either they're having a flashback or they're talking about the horrible things they had to go through, and it's just like kind of this upbeat type shit and
heroic.
What's happening here?
Yeah,
this is so weird. That paired with, like, Spike Lee, obviously very noteworthy director, has directed a ton of shit. I feel like he has no business directing like war battle scenes, because these were kind of bad.
Yeah. No, I maybe give him benefit of doubt that like they were just remembering them terribly. Like he's got that sort of out, is that these were memories. This wasn't like we were actually watching it. This is like them thinking back on it. So, but it was really bad. Like the way they were shooting the guns, and it was like bad 80s action movies. And
the infinite ammo clips and stuff. Like, that's something that always bothers me in movies. I don't know. Like, it's fine. I can look past stuff like that if the story is good enough. And I think for the most part it was, although there were some Deus Ex Machina occurrences in this that just like felt lazy, frankly. Like, for instance, when Paul's son just magically goes to take a shit and stumbles upon something, that felt real lazy and real coincidental. Like, you're in the jungle in Vietnam and you just find exactly what you're looking for randomly. I have a lot of trouble buying that.
Yeah.
Well, how would you have wanted them to find it?
I mean, they're actually skilled soldiers. Why don't they just actually find what they were looking for using the GPS that they had, and, you know, show that these guys know what they're doing?
I was thinking they were going to be like hiking and like someone just like chucks a rock and one of those mines like explodes, and then they like it falls. It literally falls. Like that's a better accidental than like I'm gonna go take a shit. Now I'm a millionaire.
I didn't care for that very much at all. But Brick, you seem like you disagree with most of what I'm saying. Can you elaborate?
No, it's not. It's just hard to, I guess, that specifically. I was waiting. I wasn't even waiting for them to find the gold. I was like waiting for the mines to kind of appear. I knew that was going to be one of the biggest scenes because of the Chekhov's gun of the conversation that he had with the French people over there. And I was just like waiting for it at every second. And then when it did finally happen, I actually wasn't expecting it as much as I thought it would. So finding the gold, that was their goal in the first place. I never really had an issue with them finding it the way that they did. But I was not even thinking about that part. I was waiting for the bigger things to happen in it, which they did. And I found some of those scenes to be riveting.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, like there's some bailouts towards the very end battle scene with a guy who probably shouldn't be able to wield his weapon as well as he did. But, you know, like in the grand scheme of things, I'm kind of nitpicking it. I just, I can tell you guys love this movie, and I was a little more lukewarm on it, I guess. So maybe I'll shut up and I'll let you guys discuss a little bit more about what you actually liked about it. Darryl, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, there was a lot of things to really enjoy. One, you know, pointing out that black people were like 250% or 2.5 times more likely to be drafted per capita. So they were fighting in a war for a country, especially at that time, that didn't want to recognize them. And that was a really heavy thing throughout. They kept saying like, we didn't want to fight in this fucking war to all the Vietnamese people, but all the Vietnamese people see are the evil Americans. You're American. That's all that matters.
Yeah, you did it anyway.
Yeah. But it's like, we weren't actually Americans at that time. Like, we didn't have a fucking choice, but we were still here.
Yo, fuck the drafts. I could never imagine being drafted to go across seas and murder people. That's an insane concept to me. The fact that it happened not even 50 years ago is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's a really wild system because no one signs up for it.
Exactly. You happen to be on this land, now see ya.
Fucking terrible.
And fighting in the jungle in itself is like, for going somewhere foreign to begin with is like, oh yeah, no, this guy could be a pickpocketer. Oh, I don't know. But going to a jungle and having to navigate through places that have landmines and traps and Viet Cong everywhere and every which way, you have to be quiet. It's just like that's the scariest thing on earth. People dropping bombs over your head. That's hell on earth.
Yeah, and I thought it was really well done how Spike Lee took the time to not only look at one disenfranchised group in Black soldiers, and also show it from the side. Darryl, you kind of mentioned this a little bit, but Vietnamese people who were basically everybody involved was getting completely screwed, and some shit that they didn't either believe in or support, just because. I mean, the threat of communism has been the grounds to start every war basically for the last, I don't know, 75 years. So
the domino effect.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, I'm gonna again cede the floor. Anything else you guys want to say about this before we get to our recommendations and wrap some things up?
Can I do a spoiler?
I think
sure.
It's not a big one.
Go ahead.
But Otis is definitely dead.
Yeah, that kind of made sense.
Yeah.
For him to walk up to Tien and just be like, yeah, you know, everything's fine. And yeah, that completely makes sense.
That was part was like, and he looked really at peace. The overhead shot, he looks just like serene, and it would make sense given the rest of the story. You know, without giving more spoilers.
Yeah, in his mind, that everything's wrapped up in a perfect little bow.
Yeah.
Plus, you get shot in the jungle, like you ain't making it out of that. You're an older person, like you're probably in your 70s.
Should have got them pain meds. Yeah.
If you guys want a good war book to read, The Things They Carried, that's what I would compare this movie to. There's a book called The Things They Carried. It is fantastic. And it's like the literal and the metaphorical things that they carry. So the things that they're in their rucksack, but also the pain and suffering that they carry back with them after the war. This movie is like that to a T.
Whew. I've heard of that one. I think we read that, or part of it we read in school. We're supposed to read in school. I'm bad at reading. I think it might have been a different class, but I remember that book sounded familiar. It's probably in the advanced class, not in my stupid class.
Fair. This has been a very serious review of a very serious.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, no, it's
usually not territory that we delve into. So, but Darryl, I appreciate your perspective on it. Obviously, it kind of helps to have a black man come on and talk about this type of movie instead of just, in what would have been three white dudes who were like, yeah, I understand what they're going through.
I think it would have been interesting too if you, I don't know if your dad talks about the war and all that, but I don't know if he's seen the movie, what if he would say about it. I'm just interested to hear from people in that time what they think about like the depictions.
My dad is very tight-lipped about it. He doesn't like to talk about it, understandably so. I've never tried to push him on it. Generally, like if I'm watching something, like if I were to watch something on TV and there was like a battle scene in it, he would leave the room. So like, just not. I know he's got stories, and sometimes he'll get a couple beers in him and just tell me something, random. Yeah, but never to the scale of this.
Well, my brother has the same thing. Again, he's in the military, and he talks about that whenever we watch things that are more modern war. He's like, "That's not how we would do that. That's terrible. That's the dumbest thing I've ever fucking seen." And then he'll tell me like when I had to do this, and he'll go in like the full story. Wow. And he's just like stone faced. I'm like, oh shit, like this is fucking real. Okay.
Yeah, that's heavier than I anticipated here. Yeah, comes in. No, not that. It's like that's the story he's telling you. It's like, damn, like that's descriptive and wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
A war story that isn't awful.
Exactly. War sucks.
Yeah.
Peace, baby.
All right. On that note, let's shift to our recommendations for the week and hopefully turn this a little bit lighter. Rick, what have you been consuming lately?
I have not been able to do much consuming. I've got to find a new place to live in 10 days, and my roommate's being a pain in the ass about finding he's being very particular about what he needs. He's being very needy. So now I got to find. We're doing a lot of that shit, but we've been watching one episode of Breaking Bad every night. So.
How far are you?
Guys, they're young and single. What needs do you have?
He wants like a mountain view. I want a pool and a hot tub.
Is this like House Hunters?
Yes, man.
He's a cheapy peepee. I swear to God, he was ever since he met Jane on Breaking Bad, which was Jesse's girlfriend when they were doing whatever. He was meth and heroin and all that. She was doing heroin, and I was like, "Oh, you still like her?" He's like, "Absolutely." And then she tries to steal Jesse's money. He's like, "Fuck that bitch." I was like, "You're that cheap that's when you draw the line, not at the heroin, but when she's trying to steal his money." She didn't even try and steal the money. She was like, "Yeah, let's just get it for you."
Damn. Okay. Well, that's
He's thrifty. So yeah, I think we actually did find a place today. So.
Well, best of luck, because apartment hunting is the fucking worst.
Yeah, we found a place, but we can only lease it on July 22nd, and our lease ends June 30th. So now we're just
Airbnb.
Everybody's homeless there. It's fine. Just you'll drift for a couple of weeks. It's all good.
Well, now Krisky's coming out here, so we're going to stay with Krisky. And my sister said that she's going to be gone for 2 weeks, so we're going to stay at her place too if need be. So we got options, but it's just like a pain in the actual ass.
Yeah.
You freaking sorry.
Darryl, what have you been watching and doing whatever?
So I've been reading a metric fuck ton of comics, just really trying to catch up. So Elise over at First Aid been sending me maybe 4 or 5 books every week for the past like month. And so let's see, I read House of X, Powers of X. That was pretty interesting, really fun.
The rebrand, like more recent stuff.
What's that?
Was it like the original House of X from probably late 2000s?
No, it's the recent stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Spider-Man Life Story. I don't know if you guys talked about that at all when that. Probably one of the best Spider-Man stories I've ever read.
Okay.
Like it goes through the ages. So it starts in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s up until today. Whatever like one of the major storylines was from that time, it gets featured, but Spider-Man ages in real time throughout.
Is this the Chip Zdarsky one?
Yes.
Okay. I'm familiar with it. I have not yet read it, but
it is
that's pretty ringing endorsement.
Fucking great. And then Low, I think I've read 3 volumes of Low, and then 2 volumes of Headlopper. I know you love Headlopper.
Lopping heads. Let's go, baby.
It's actually a really great comic. It's like grown-up adventure time. So like if Finn grew up, he would be Headlopper. That's in my head canon at least.
It's still got kind of like some of the cutesy art and stuff, but
yes,
he does cut the heads off of things.
Yeah.
He literally carries around like a little witch's head. It's dark and funny at the same time.
Yeah. So that's what I've been really getting into, is just trying to tap back into my comics.
Dope.
What's up, Rick?
So I do have one recommendation that actually did come out on Friday, The Last of Us 2. Did I just steal your recommendation?
Yes, you did. My copy showed up today.
You take it. You take it then.
That's all right. I mean, I haven't started it yet. I installed it. As soon as I'm done talking about movies and shit with you guys, that's probably what I will do. Very excited for it. For some reason, people on the internet are shitting on it, like all over Reddit, because we can't have anything nice. I don't know if it's just because the main character is a lesbian, or if they're just, I don't know. Maybe it's the hype that was built up for. I mean, the game's like 6 or 7 years old, but the original, that I should say, maybe
the original
too big and shit. I don't know.
The original was fantastic, and I think maybe people want to have that next gen feel. They announced the PS5, and they want to have that next gen feel, because that's kind of what PlayStation 3 did with The Last of Us. Was like, here's it's gonna kind of look like on PlayStation 4. I don't know. I haven't played it yet either, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to Starkey's house after this, and we're gonna rip through it. We're gonna play it together. It's actually one of those games where you play it on hard, and then you kind of just take turns. Once you die, you kind of flip it over. But it's a story game, really. It's where it's like they're gonna be long cutscenes, and you're developing characters and stuff. That's what they did so well in the first one. So I'm looking forward to kind of diving into that.
Yeah, it's minimal on the action side. There's a lot of scavenging, which I find kind of interesting, as opposed to like you just have infinite bullets and you're gonna murder everybody.
Yeah.
It makes you a little more strategic with the moves you're gonna make. But I'm very excited to play it. So
stealth, there's going to be different options. You can go in guns akimbo, but you could also sneak behind some things, do some stealth killing. The killing animations look very gorgeous and realistic. If that sounds psycho, that makes sense. But I'm looking forward to it. Should we do points breakdown?
Yeah, want me to add them up?
Go for it.
Let's do it.
All right, Smithers, +1 for his dope shirt.
Sick.
+1 for the CDPR conspiracy theory. -1 because he wants to punch me in the face, and it will never happen. -1 against my genius idea about Disney. I don't need you shitting on my dreams.
I'm just an advocate, man.
+1 though for recommending that guy to kick his brother in the nuts.
Absolutely.
+1 for the NFL faces. And then +1 for acknowledging the elephant in the room, talking about a black movie with a black man. I can dig it.
Like I don't know. Like, we didn't have you on specifically because
it just worked out.
Black movie, but yeah, like Mark wasn't here, and it just kind of worked out.
It's all good. All right, so Brick. So 3 for Smithers. +1 for saying I look handsome. Thank you.
No problem. I meant that too. Not even for the points.
Sure.
+1 for people doing coke in the 80s in high school.
Yep. Hell yeah. It's a fact.
+2
for Flavortown. Even though you stole mine.
Hell yeah.
It had to be said.
It had to be said.
+1 for Man Hands reference. Cracking the lobster.
Hell yeah.
-1 for no recommendation to start.
True. Okay.
Yeah. And then +1 for the phrase cheapy peepee. I've never heard that in my life.
That's a Harmontown reference.
I never listened to Harmontown.
It stops, but they called Rob Schraub a cheapy peepee because he was never he wanted to borrow Dan Harmon's iPad and try it out first before buying his own. And so then he basically called him a cheapy peepee. And then everybody that listens to Harmontown just kept tweeting out that Rob Schraub's a cheapy peepee. Just hated it. I'm not a cheapy peepee. He like freaked out. It's fantastic.
I've never heard that phrase before, so it was fantastic. So what is that?
Yeah.
Is that 5?
5-3.
5-3. I'm surprised Smithers got in the positive. You should take that as a win.
Yeah, except I actually have to watch a movie now.
That's fine. I'll find something that's good bad.
Okay.
Good.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And I like that you get to choose that one. He's also got a couple that you should probably watch these movies before you play Last of Us too.
What do we have?
He's got Braveheart, and he's got another movie and we have to review Robin Hood.
Yeah, I actually watched that one already, though. It's very bad.
So we gave him a Braveheart, which is just like a gimme. It's a fantastic movie.
I had a baby, and I've been kind of busy, so
excuses.
It is a pretty long movie, and when you have a kid, you can watch Braveheart in 30-minute segments.
I'm gonna watch it at like 2 times speed.
There you go.
Yeah, but also he just said that he was just gonna, after this hour 20-minute conversation, he's gonna go directly into playing Last of Us 2. So how much time do you really have? You have plenty of time.
I will take my son. He will fall asleep on my lap. It's fine.
And listen to clickers as you explode their brains.
You're
gonna make a psycho, dude.
This is like the third time this week you've threatened to call DCFS on me.
I haven't threatened.
I haven't threatened. I just did it.
I have him on speed dial.
All right. So Darryl, I want to thank you very much for joining us, and I'll give you one more chance to plug your show or your channel or social media, anything else you got.
Yeah, absolutely. It's at Watch It Like on all social media. Watch It Like podcast. Find it on iTunes, Spotify, Google, whatever the hell you listen to. Movie reviews, comics, TV, just all kinds of fun shit. Just really helping to get in the right mind space to enjoy shit. And this is episode 200, right?
It is, which we probably
crazy.
Something bigger.
Amazing.
And
we did. Yeah. We got Darryl on.
Yeah, that's true. We did a big party in my backyard, and
I know. I think I've been listening to you guys since 87, like 90 range.
Damn.
That's when Mark reached out.
Hell yeah.
And so that I would much rather have been in Chicago right now, getting drunk with you guys to do episode 200, but this will do.
Mark and I talked last night. We're hoping maybe around like November we can get in a bar and get like a big meetup together. So we'll see. I don't know. Who knows what the world's going to be like in 5 months.
There we go. Me and Darren will be up.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So as always, you can find us on all social media platforms at the Chumpcast. You can call or text us at 847-920-6107. Darryl, thank you one more time for joining us. And until next time, Chumps out.
Motherfuckers. Peace.
Peace.